Today on the show, Matt Boggs shares an invaluable daily practice on how to complete your most important projects in record time. So keep watching. Hi, I'm Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show, and today my special guest is the amazing Mr. Matt Boggs. Hi.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Now, Matt is here. He lives a life of passion, and so he very much qualifies for our Passion Peeps section. He has had quite an interesting upbringing. His mum is the amazing Mary Morrissey, who you may know from the 11 Forgotten Laws with Bob Proctor and many other ventures that she's been doing. So, Matt, what I want to get you to do first is just to start with your background and your story and leading up to what you're doing now.
Well, I don't know if you grew up in a personal development family, but in my family, we weren't given Dr. Seuss to read. You know, we were given books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective Babies and Think and Grow Teeth, or Rich Diaper, Poor Diaper. we were constantly bathed in, you become what you think about most, and that we get to control our emotions with our thoughts. We create what it is that we want. So it was as irritating as that was as a young kid, because we could never get away with anything. It was very much in my advantage growing up, because I learned to take responsibility for my results.
Right.
And I was told that I could create anything that I wanted. And so what I began to search for in my life was, what was I most passionate about? And what did I care most about? What really lit me up? When did I feel most alive? And it was when I was studying and teaching on love and relationships. And I've always been a romantic guy. I've always had a passion for understanding how to make that work. And it probably was both a passion and a driving force that comes from some pain in my life as well. I don't know if you've heard the quote from Michael Beckwith, but he says, in life, we're pushed by pain until we're pulled by a vision.
Right.
And for me, initially, my passion got ignited with some very intense emotional pain.
Right.
And my parents divorced when I was 14 years old, and it rocked my world, because they had been married for 27 years, told me they were soulmates. And I remember after they got divorced, deciding that I was going to shut down my heart, deciding that this is not going to work for me. I'm going to learn from this, and the only way I can really keep myself safe is to keep relationships at an arm's length and really not let them in. And that's the way I did relationships all the way through high school, all the way through college. And then when I was in graduate school getting my master's degree in education, my mom called me up and said, "Hey, I think you should spend some time with your grandparents. Your grandfather has been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and you should spend some time with them." And so I said, all right, I'll do that. And it was the first time in my life that I'd ever seen what a lifelong love story looks like.
Right.
They had been married 63 years, and they were still crazy about one another. And so for the precious time that I spent with them before he passed away, every Thursday we would go on this adventures, search for a great lunch destination.
Yeah.
They would call these the Adventures with the Professor, because I was starting to become a teacher. And so we would go out and we'd visit Mike's Pumpkin Milkshakes or Duger's Clam Chowder, and they started to tell me their story about how they fell in love, and I reconnected to that place in me that wanted that for myself. And also I wanted to discover how couples who had been married over 40, 50, 60 years, how they stayed together. What were the common principles that they were practicing that made love last? Which that became my mission in life.
Right.
Is to study that and share that with the world to help them increase the love in their hearts.
Okay. Because my next question for Passion Peeps is normally how there's like